Is anyone else freaking out? I'm freaking out. Hi friends. Hello. Hi. How are you? Hope you're having a grand day. I am, because I'm filming right now, and that makes me both equal parts excited and equal parts nervous. Hi. So this is going to be a get ready with me. I started my channel doing get ready with me's, and I feel like anytime I have life updates and stuff I want to talk about, I just feel better doing it while I'm getting ready. So pardon all the dryness and rosacea that's happening here right now. Hi. So I've been gone for a minute, obviously, and I know that a lot of you guys have been like, where are you? So today's video is going to be explaining where I have been for basically the past year. I have a few videos that are like, I would not let myself film this video until I had minimum of 2 more videos to post after that are like normal real content, and I finally finished those yesterday. So today is this video, which is gonna go up first, but I do have other videos like following. I didn't want to just like post something again and then like dip. I just felt like that would be not the best idea. So I'm gonna get ready, and while I get ready I'm gonna talk to you guys. That's obviously what a get ready with me is. I haven't done this in a minute. I'm sorry. I haven't really like talked about myself in a minute. I'm sorry. This might be a little all over the place and scattered, but we're gonna try. I'm not really gonna talk about the products I'm using because it doesn't matter. Nobody should be taking advice from me anyway. I'm just gonna do what I do. Let's get started. And let's discuss the gigantic elephant on the channel, which is why I have been MIA for the past year. God, I did not expect to be this nervous. I'm like shaking. I'm like, I know a lot of people, I get this whenever I do life updates. A lot of people are like, you don't owe us an explanation, just like do you. But I also think the cool part about YouTube and the joy of YouTube is that you actually do get to know the creators that you watch as people, even if it's only in like small doses. Besides like the normal content that I do, I've always loved that you guys know me kind of a little bit, like the parts I show, but you guys know me a little bit. And that's also something I love about creators that I watch, is when you like kind of know someone at least a little bit that you're watching. I just feel like that's the cool part. It's like different than other content that you have in terms of like media. Because on TV shows, you don't really fully know the actors that you're watching, but like you can still enjoy the content as they're playing a character. But YouTube, everything is so you-based. The entire channel is like me as a human. So I do think it's important to chit-chat about things sometimes. I think I'm gonna do this. I also do just want to apologize for one more thing before I get into it. I do just want to apologize because I do feel a lot of my content lately, well, I mean, not that I've been posting a lot, but the stuff I have been posting, it's always like life updates, and it's always like this awful stuff going on. And I can't promise that's going to get better because it seems to just be my life now. But I can promise there's going to be more content sprinkled in between that is not just me talking about everything going on in my life. So there's that. I think I'm gonna do this in chronological order because I just think that's easier to kind of get into all of this and like make it make sense in my brain. So obviously last year in November, I announced that I was divorcing my ex, Charles, who was a huge part of my life. And that video was really hard to make because it was what I thought at that point was coming after the worst year of my life. But 2023 had so many tricks in store for me. They were like, oh babes, you thought 2022 was bad? Let's like hop right into 2023. So the first thing I want to address and talk about is what happened to Glomus last year. Because at the end of that divorce video, I talked about how I was going to really attempt to do Glomus, and I had videos prepped, and then Glomus just didn't happen. And I do feel like as people who support me, I don't like when I make promises and I can't keep them. It's like the worst thing in the world to do to people that support you. So I do want to at least give some explanation. But this part of the video is the part that I think I'm the most nervous about, which is why I think I'm so just like jittery right now, is because this is part of the video that I'm like, I don't really want to get too much into it, but I feel like you'll understand that. Anyway, I'm over explaining. So December 2nd of 2022, so it was day 2 of Glomus, I got assaulted. And again, don't really want to delve into what happened or like why it happened and what went on because it was awful. But that just like basically ruined my life for a while. I was viscerally unwell for a while, and I felt both parts, like trying to deal with that happening and trying to deal with how awful that was and how hard that was to get through and kind of work through and everything. So that was like awful to go through. But then on top of that, I knew what I had promised YouTube, and I know there are things that trump posting content, but I knew what I had promised you guys, and I felt like an asshole because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, guys. Like, I really think I'm ready. I'm in the headspace. And then that happened, and it just like destroyed my entire world. I've been a before. I've talked about it a couple times on my channel when I was younger, and that was a really awful thing for me to go through back then. And so it was kind of a double whammy. I feel like if you've been up multiple times, you could understand the sentiment of like, it's so hard because it's the double whammy of, it feels like all of the work that you put into getting over, this is how I felt, all of the work that I'd put into getting over the first one and all the years that it took me, not that you ever really get over it, but like you overcome and you survive it. Like, and it felt like all of the work that I'd put into surviving that, it was like I was sucked back to square one, being 18 years old, crying in my college dorm room again. And it was awful. So I was trying to, because I knew I had this obligation that I was supposed to be doing. I wanted to do it, but I just couldn't. I mentally shut down for probably like 3 months. I like fully just shut down. That's why there was like very little content. That's why I wasn't posting anything. Just like even the couple of videos I did post, literally the only reason I posted those videos, and I'm gonna be so fucking for real right now, the only reason I posted those videos was because I had sponsorships that I had like a contractual obligation to post at least one video. So I literally had to post those videos contractually. Like, that is the only reason. And I hated that because I never wanted to be that type of YouTuber that's like, oh, I have a fucking contract. But it was like I had to post those. So like the only times I would post were purely just because if I didn't, I was gonna like get in huge trouble for not posting, basically. Which I hated. Despised that. Hated that feeling. Don't know how I'm gonna ever feel about doing sponsorships again after that experience, because it was the worst experience of my life to have to like get on camera and pretend to be happy and bubbly and like have to take breaks because I'm just crying and like unwell. So I was really unwell for like 3 months after that happened. Basically like all of December, January, February. Towards the end of February, it was my birthday, and I started getting a little bit better just because I was in therapy and it started feeling easier to be happy again. I feel like the best way I can describe like getting a is like it really does just feel like somebody just like dulled your sparkle. I know that's so cliche, but like there's that phrase like, don't let anyone dull your sparkle. This was like, my sparkle was gone. Like there was no sparkle left in me after that happened. It was evaporated. And I was also just like, I was just laying in bed constantly. It was awful. It was a really bad time. But towards my birthday, sparkle started coming back a little bit. I was like feeling better. I was like, I love my birthday, and my birthday this past year was incredible. My friends threw me a Taylor Swift themed surprise party. I had a dinner with like 30 of my absolute favorite people on the planet. It was like, there was so much, I didn't know how I was going to do it with it because it was the first birthday without Charles that I'd had in so long, but my friends made it incredible. Like everything about it could not have gone better. It was perfect. So I was like kind of doing well. Like I was like riding the vibes for my birthday. I was like starting to find joy in life again and like starting to like be myself again, and like things were getting better. And then this is going to be the theme of the video, by the way. Is I'm gonna be going, I was doing better, and then that's the whole theme of the video. So I'm sorry if that's annoying. I found out one of my really close friends, who I got really, really close to after my divorce, like he was such a staple of helping me get through all of that. I cannot tell you the amount of times he sat and listened to me like complain basically about my ex and my life and everything that was happening for me, and like the support system that he was for me was invaluable. But one of my best friends passed, and it was like a fucking gut punch, because I haven't really had a ton of experience with people I'm that close to that are that young passing, because he was only a couple years older than me, so he was like 30, I think he was 31. It was just like a gut punch. Like I'll never forget like finding out that it happened. And also the thing about it is like I now have this like really beautiful community of friends that I found after I got my divorce. Like I found this really beautiful community of people. We all like raise each other up and are there for each other and support it. We get on each other's nerves too, but we're all very supportive of one another, and like we're all very much a unit of people. So it wasn't even just losing him, it was like the gut punch that it was to every single person in my life, and like this beautiful community of people, seeing all of them go through all this pain and anguish, and like me going through all that pain and anguish that I was feeling from my own grief. And like, it was just a gut punch. I can't describe it any other way. It was just like the most traumatizing. I shouldn't even say that, but it was so traumatizing. Like having that happen. I'm not even getting ready. Maybe I shouldn't even do a get ready with me. I don't know. At this point, I'm like, maybe I should just fucking talk. Because I feel like I'm just not going to be able... No, I should do at least something so I can have a thumbnail that's not a jump scare. I'm not going to do the full makeup routine though. We're going to do the basics right now because I'm realizing right now that I'm probably going to cry as well. No, it was just like the biggest gut punch. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have gone through loss like that. It was the absolute worst thing that I had gone through up until that point. Like it was, I can't even begin to describe how awful it was. And so that was just devastating. It was like an incredibly hard loss and a huge hit to just like everything in life. I still like will just sob about the fact that he's not here anymore. I will say one beautiful thing that came out of it, and this isn't a surprise given how incredible he was. I got really close with a lot of members of his family through it because we all, as a friend group, like we were like his chosen family, but his birth family are incredible, amazing people. And so like we all were able to like rally around that and help them and, you know, talk to them and do all of that. But yeah, the only way you can describe it, I'm sure, again, a lot of you, I'm sure, have like dealt with losses like this. The literal only way you can describe it is just awful. Soul crushing. This makeup's gonna look terrible. I'm so sorry. So then that was almost like another 3 months of just like unbelievable depression. Like I've been depressed a lot in my life and I've been at very low points before. This was like a new low of like sadness. It was unbelievable. I didn't know that I physically could be that sad as a human being. Like I didn't know that that level of sadness was possible. I think that's the worst part about grief is it's not linear. Like I can't be like, oh, well, I'm making strides to like feel better about it because there's no stride. I mean, you can make strides to live with it, but you can't really make strides to like be okay with the situation. It's the worst situation. I think after that happened, I really got almost to a point that it was probably unhealthy for me because I wasn't really taking care of myself. I'm also a really big, like, this will surprise absolutely none of you, but I'm a big sort of like, I just want to always be there for everyone all the time. Like, I was like pretty much burning myself out to constantly be there for my people, constantly be this like person they could rely on if they needed it. Like after that happened, it made me even more insane about that type of stuff where like I didn't want to miss anything that was happening. I would, even if I didn't even want to like go to dinner or something because I was just tired, I would force myself to do it because I just always wanted to be there for everything. I didn't want to miss anything. I didn't want to not know if something was going on with one of my friends and I like missed it. So the whole summer was really just spent by like me doing that, just like trying to be there for everyone in my life and trying so hard to like deal with all of it. And then the other part of it too was like, I thought a lot during the summer about posting. Like I thought for a lot about like trying to get back into this and trying to do this again. Because the thing about it, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like, well, why are you forcing yourself to like do this if like it, you know, it's not working or whatever. The reason I'm like still forcing myself, not forcing myself even, the reason I still want to do this, it's never been like I don't want to post. That's kind of untrue because in the summer it kind of got that way, but we're gonna get to that in a second. But for the most part, it's never been fully an issue of not wanting to post. I love doing this. I love talking. Obviously, I won't shut the fuck up ever. Like, I love talking. I love the editing process. I love the scripting process. I've always loved all of that. I think the hard thing for me a lot of times with this is that it's just sometimes so daunting to, and I'm not saying this to say that this job is like, oh, it's so hard being a YouTuber, because it's like, it's really not that hard of a job. But I will say, when you are at your lowest point, having to, you can't like phone in this. You can't like phone in this type of thing. You can't just like be miserable but like still do your job. Like you have to come on here and be okay and be happy and be this person that everyone knows you as on the internet. And that, for me at least, has become just impossible. I also think over the summer I dealt with a really large amount of just like imposter syndrome, which I've always dealt with, but like there were some things over the summer that reminded me of what happened in 2020 during Glomus. And I've never talked about what happened back then again after I made the video. If you know what I'm talking about, you know, and if you don't, basically I just like had a very large scandal that I was a part of. In hindsight is really hard for me to think about sometimes because I would do a lot differently now than I did back then, but that's just life. But I was thinking about that a lot. And I've never really talked about that since it happened. We're going on like 3 years since it happened. I've never talked about it again on my channel because I avoided it like the plague, because it gives me, even right now, if you could feel my heart, it's like racing because I get so much anxiety talking about this situation. I will say that going through a public sort of like people hating you for something, whether it's real or not real, like true or not true, which in my case, I felt like I was very wrongfully accused of a lot of things. I did fuck up in some ways, but I also felt like I was being accused of things that weren't true, a lot of it. And at the time, I just like kept it pushing. Like I just like kept doing Glomus, kept posting videos. I never even really talked about it, but like I think it was a big factor in why the summer of 2021 was so bad for me mentally, because like I felt this immense pressure to just never fuck up on this channel again and never do anything that would ever offend anybody or hurt anybody or do anything wrong again. Like I had this insane just like crushing weight every time I would film. I'd be like, this video's not good enough. This video's bad. And I started getting that this summer too. I was just like, this video is like not, I would film something or I would script something or I would, you know, edit and I would watch it and I'd be like, this video's bad. What if I say this and this is not right? And like, what if I do this and this is not how people perceive me? And it's so much, I got so in my head about being perceived as perfect and making everyone like me. And that is crazy. Because this is the internet and like nobody likes everybody on the internet. I hate a bunch of people that are on the internet and I don't even like, you know, that's a crazy, you can't do a YouTube channel if you're constantly afraid of what everyone is going to think of you and that you're not doing things right. It is literally impossible to function mentally and also think that everyone has to like you all the time. That's why even this video is hard for me to talk about, because I'm like, well, what if it's perceived this way? What if I say something and it's perceived this way? Or like people think I'm complaining or people think, and it's like, Hannah, you gotta just shut the fuck up and do it. Like you either gotta do it or you don't do it. Because that's the one part of doing YouTube that's always been a hard thing for me to get past, is I am such a people pleaser. It's like annoying. Like Taylor Swift has that song where it's like, I'm a pathological people pleaser. I have never related to a song lyric more in my entire life. I literally made a watercolor painting of it the day that she released that song. Over the summer, it was just a lot of that. Just like everything felt not good enough. Everything felt like it was gonna be a disaster. It was bad. And then in September, I got a call that another one of my friends had passed. And this one, again, it was a complete shock. It was a fucking gut punch. And it was also, he was the brother of one of my absolute favorite people on the planet, like one of my absolute best friends. So it was, again, this grief that I'm feeling, but also it was like, how do I protect him now? Like my best friend. And then it was just the whole grief, the grief was all consuming all over again. Like when I say this year, it's just been it feels like every fucking second I have a chance to like, I'm almost like psyching myself out on it because I'm like, oh, well, I'm finally filming, but what if I, you know, get in a fucking car crash or something after this? Like, because that's how this year has felt. Like, and for a person with anxiety, that is not great. But yeah, all that to say, I need to force myself to just stop overthinking everything, basically. And I need to also, I feel like it's actually positive for me to do videos right now because I've actually felt better the past few days, like working again, because when you're depressed, you think all you want to do is lay in your bed and do nothing and cry. That's actually like also the worst thing you can do for yourself, because then you're even more depressed and you're like kicking yourself for all the shit you should have done and you didn't do. So like this has actually been good for me to do. It's just not been easy. But that's also life. Life is not easy and life can be hard and difficult and not the best at times. And that's okay. But what I will say is going forward, I'm not going to promise a schedule. I'm not going to promise everything's going to be hunky-dory all the time. But I do want to keep doing this. And if you're around to stick around and hear what I have to say about things, I appreciate you. And if you're not, that's also fine. I get a non-consistent YouTuber is annoying for people, so I understand it. But yeah, I have a couple really exciting videos I'm really hyped to post in the next couple weeks. So I hope you guys like them. And thank you for listening to me. I'm I'm not going to say complain because it is belittling my emotions, but I will say thank you for listening to me talk about everything and explain everything, and then, you know, hopefully we'll be okay. Hopefully everything will work out. Oh my god, this is one of the Fenty heat. I was like, why is this burning my lips right now? I was literally like, why is this burning? Okay, anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, I am just so fucking happy you're here. Thank you. And also, I have my social justice spotlight. I have links to how you can donate to victims in Palestine. If you are able to donate or even share any of the things down there, I would greatly appreciate it. And also a link to register to vote, because it's very important. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.